Det var första gången vi möttes, våra blickar bara möttes. Kommer du ihåg det igen? Kommer du ihåg igen? Du vill ha icy little fingers, då du vet det chalas. All in, ingen broms, schackmatt på din vänster hand. Du är så viktig baby, ja du allians. Du är försiktig baby, men du gav mig en chans. Det är 50-50 baby, men det är balans. Jag växlar upp med dig baby, ingen annan. Det var fan ingen dans på någon ros innan jag träffade någon som dig. Baby, det var fan ingen dans på någon ros innan jag träffade någon som dig. Du är mitt liv baby. Aldrig titta på någon annan, varför du med annan? Kom var med mig baby, aldrig lita på någon annan. Finns ingen annan, jag vill ha min chakarinna. Mosa och save, ingen sinna. Jag kommer alltid ride with you. 100 gubbar klart jag die for you. Du är så viktig baby, ja du allians. Du är försiktig baby, men du gav mig en chans. Det är 50-50 baby, men det är balans. Jag växlar upp med dig baby, ingen annan. Det var fan ingen dans på någon ros innan jag träffade någon som dig. Du är mitt liv baby. Det var fan ingen dans på någon ros innan jag träffade någon som dig. Du är mitt liv baby. Visa mig vart du finns. Du kommer väl till min city? Nej, jag vet att det finns. Kom då, det är bra lives and all nights, yeah. Jag vet att jag min kör det. Skön social, smart good lady. Jag tvivlar det. Visa mig vart du finns, yeah.
Do you know that in 2016, 66 liters of diesel cost $100? Today, under the PNM, you get 20 liters of diesel for $100. The diesel you paid $100 for under the UNC now costs $327 under the Do you know that in 2016, 66 liters of diesel cost $100? Today, under the PNM, you get 20 liters of diesel for $100. The diesel you paid $100 for under the UNC now costs $327 under the PNM, which directly affects the cost of food, transport, and services. Guess who I'm voting for next time?
Welcome to the United National Congress's Pavement Report. We take this opportunity to thank you for coming out and for all you. Now, please stand for the national anthem and remain standing for the prayer. Thank you.
Under the PNM, you get 20 liters of diesel for $100. The diesel you paid $100 for under the UNC now costs $327 under the PNM, which directly affects the cost of food, transport, and services. Guess who I'm voting for next time?
Det var första gången vi möttes. Våra blickar bara möttes. Kommer du ihåg det igen? Kommer du ihåg igen? Du vill ha icy little fingers. Då du vet det chalas.
Do you know that in 2016, 66 liters of diesel cost $100? Today, under the PNM, you get 20 liters of diesel for $100.
The diesel you paid $100 for under the UNC now costs $327 under the PNM,
which directly affects the cost of food, transport, and services. Guess who I'm voting for next time?
Welcome to the United National Congress's Pavement Report. We take this opportunity to thank you for coming out and for all your support. Now, please stand for the national anthem and remain standing for the prayer. Thank you.
Forged from the love of liberty in the fires of hope and prayer, with boundless faith in our destiny, we solemnly declare, side by side we stand, islands of the blue Caribbean Sea, this our native land. We pledge our lives to thee. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation.
Almighty God, most beneficial and merciful, Creator of the universe and embodiment of divine wisdom and light, we come before you with thanksgiving and praise. May your will be done in our nation as it is in the heavens. Please bless our political leader, party officials, activists, and all the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Give us the grace to always see good, be good, and do good, and the courage to serve the people. Protect us as we stand against injustice and iniquity, and inspire our endeavors to find the right solutions to the problems that are affecting our fellow citizens. Grant that we may always work together with humility and respect for the greater happiness of all and the honor and glory of our country.
Welcome to the UNC Pavement Report. For those viewing tonight, we welcome you for joining our live stream. And tonight we are in the constituency of Point of Air. So tonight, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Good night, Sitaram. Assalamu alaikum. Good night, my Point of Air family and my UNC family here tonight. Bumper crowd, a massive crowd in the junction of Soledad and La Sophie Trace. Thank you for coming out in your numbers here tonight. As Nicholas would have said, I am chairing tonight, so you have the entire night you'll be seeing David Lee on this podium. I will be back and forth, and every time I come up, I will drop some political blows on this government that is leading this country in the morass that we are in. Tonight, we have some dynamic speakers here tonight. And firstly, let me welcome some people in the crowd. I'd like to welcome MP Indar Singh, who is here with us. Can we give him a round of applause? We have MP for Kuba North, Ravi Rajram is here. MP Anil Ram from Karani Central is here and his team. And many more are on the way. But we have some dynamic councillors up on this podium here tonight on the table. You will hear from them shortly. But I want to give a rousing round of applause to two gentlemen here tonight who will be speaking. We have MP Barry Padarath, who will be talking later. And we have no other than the lion, Dr. Roodal Moonilal, who will be coming up here. And you know Dr. Roodal Moonilal. The people of Claxton, they love Dr. Moonilal. The last time we had a meeting right here in this junction, a big crowd, was in the general election for 2020. And I think that was the last outdoor meeting the party had, because during that time we had COVID. We were suffering with COVID. And that was the last time. And we went on to victory in Pointe-à-Pierre. So this
give Shanif Mohammed a round of applause. And before I start and get on in the program, I always like to give thanks to a lot of people, because I like to do it at the beginning so that we can understand the people. This meeting that is here tonight is not an easy task. It was done by several individuals in the Pointe-à-Pierre family. So I like to give thanks to Javed Mohammed, who is the owner of the Mohammed Quick Shop right here, Mini Mart. Javed has done the stage and has been done yeoman service throughout the day. So Javed, I thank you. Eva Mohammed and family across the street, we thank you so much for the love and support. Again, Shanif Mohammed and his family. But most of all, I want to give thanks to the Mohammed Events and Tent Rentals right here located in this junction. Without them, tonight would not have been possible. I also would like to thank Robin Suklal and family, the Mican people throughout the last few days that they're miking this constituency for this meeting. Mr. Kevin Gibbs and his team, who is doing the live broadcast here tonight. I would also like to thank the St. Margaret's Police Station and the police officers who are here tonight. And Sergeant, I thank you for coming out to ensure that we are protected and the traffic flows smoothly in this junction. I thank you, Sergeant, and your team from St. Margaret's Police Station. Can we give them, the hard-working police officers, a round of applause? And last but not least, Krishna Rampasad, our songman. And last, my Pointe-à-Pierre staff. Without them, this would not happen. I would not be the man I am, the MP I am, without my Pointe-à-Pierre staff. So I thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, the people of Pointe-à-Pierre, tonight we are on the pavement on the roads of Soledad in Claxton Bay, as the UNC continues to fight for justice, fight for safety, fight for prosperity, and fight for a better Trinidad and Tobago. Tonight, the UNC joins the people of Pointe-à-Pierre to stand against a government that has allowed extortion and home invasion to spread like wildfire throughout our communities. UNC government, when we go into power, led by the Honorable Kamala Prasad-Bissessar, we will fix it. And I want to say good night to our honorable political leader, the Honorable Kamala Prasad-Bissessar. I know she's locked on, viewing and listening to our program here tonight. And tonight is her vision, the pavement report. Tonight, the UNC joins the people of Pointe-à-Pierre to stand against a government that 6 years to this very day, in 2 short days on November 30th, they shut the gates of the prosperity on Pointe-à-Pierre. When they closed down the refinery, a UNC government, I want to tell you, will reopen that refinery. Tonight, the UNC joins the people of Pointe-à-Pierre on the pavement, because we know, like all of Trinidad and Tobago, you have been abandoned, roads abandoned, not a new school built in Pointe-à-Pierre. no maintenance of our drainage, no new job opportunities. This government has done nothing for Pointe-a-Pierre. And we suffer for water right here in the Soledad community, my brothers and sisters. And we have asked and pleaded with the Wassa authorities, and I know when Barry Padarath, MP Barry Padarath, comes up here later, he will talk more. The countdown is on for you to choose whether you want Trinidad and Tobago that offers its heart and soul, workers for a meager 4%, while it gives a prime minister tens of thousands of dollars a month. And we heard today in a press conference that Rowley said he wants his money, he wants his big salary, he wants that increase. And I am sure Dr. Moonilal, when he comes up, will say a lot more on that issue here. This prime minister we have wants his $80,000 a month increase, my brothers and sisters, while we suffer with food prices in the supermarket. Yet today, he said he works very hard and he wants his money. And the money doesn't sleep out. So tonight, we have a powerful lineup of speakers who will tell you why the UNC is the only choice to return us to government. And our first speaker here tonight is a dynamic young lady, a councillor. This is her first term serving in Caratal area, my brothers and sisters, the councillor for Caratal, Tortuga, none other than Sharon Badal, Ayhew. Can we give her a round of applause? Thank you so much. Come up, Sharon.
Welcoming me to Pointe-a-Pierre and in Soledad, this community, and in the presence and the home of Mr. Mohammed. Good evening, political leader, and our next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, the Honorable Kamla Persad Bissessa. MPs, senators, councillors, aldermen, and to you, my UNC family, good night. Thanks for having me tonight in Pointe-a-Pierre, MP David Lee. As I stand in this constituency, I want to publicly thank you for lending your unwavering mentorship and support to my colleagues and I in the constituency of Tabakit. You have truly demonstrated the true meaning of being your neighbor's keeper. MP Lee, I want to thank you for your continued guidance. But tonight, my UNC family, we have burning issues. Burning issues in my electoral district of Caratal, Tortuga. Home invasions and robberies have been plaguing my electoral district and our beloved country of Trinidad and Tobago. We've seen business entrepreneurs and farmers being the target and referred to in this country as easy food. Small businesses are forced to close their doors because they are fearful that they might be next. Our homes are no longer safe spaces, and we are existing behind prison walls in our own homes. You heard what I just said? We are existing behind prison walls in our own homes because the Minister of National Security has failed us as citizens of this country. He has done absolutely nothing to protect our citizens in this country. And you know what? He's telling the people of Laventille West that he already signed back up to represent them. Minister Hines, not only Laventille West Constituency Women's League rejects you, but you see, we in Pointe-a-Pierre and Tabakit, we reject you also. And we reject the entire PNM cabinet. We telling Ole in Pointe-a-Pierre tonight, Ole have to go. This clueless government has lost touch on the ground with the everyday citizens. And they don't understand that we now have sleepless nights in communities such as Tabakit, Brasso, Flanagan Town. Because the Brasso police station doors are still closed. UNC family, let me remind you that Brasso police station was rebuilt and opened under our esteemed political leader, the Honorable Kamala Persad-Bissessar. This government has not built one police station, but our political leader knew the importance of safety in the community. And today that Brasso station is closed. Honorable Leela, I want to tell you that we in Tabakit support stand your ground laws and home invasion laws. We want to feel safe again. The constituency of Tabakit is deemed one of the food baskets of this country. You all know that? Where hundreds of farmers have been cultivating acres of land and producing hundreds of thousands of pounds of produce and fruits and vegetables to retail in our Port of Spain and Macoya market. Let me remind all you of something. You see this egocentric government has not done nothing for our farmers. They haven't dredged a river or resurfaced an agricultural access road or build a single agricultural access bridge. Let me tell you what was started under our leadership. You see, that 18 million agri-packing house at the old antique site at Brickfield in Brothers Road, that has been abandoned and is overgrown with tall bushes. And I want to tell you, it is a safe haven for snakes, roaches, and rodents. UNC family, I was fortunate to be at the sod turning ceremony of that packing house in the year 2013. It was the second of 5 packing house that was going to be built under the leadership of our esteemed political leader. The first one in Bridgeton Castle in Couva. The second in Brickfield, the third in La Gloria, the fourth in Wallerfield, and the fifth in Cush. Those packing houses were to encourage farmers from being food producers to agro-entrepreneurs. Those facilities were also meant to create employment and start the process for food security. Today in our markets, we are paying $25 per pound for tomatoes. You hear what I just said to you? $25 a pound. I want to tell you something. You see this PNM government? Don't forget to know. They're clueless, they're heartless, and they're reckless. But you know what I tell you tonight? PNM, we fearless. So we come in. We coming after all you. All you have to get out of office. In the last 9 years of PNM, they have not implemented any flooding mitigation measures in this country. Our roads are very deplorable. Our bridges are dilapidated. And now, we in the dry season, we in the rainy season and have dry taps. In the dry season, we have dry taps, and in the rainy season, we have dry taps. Where are we going with this government? The basic needs such as water we don't have. But you know what? As 2 drops of rain fall, my burgesses have 4 feet of water in Forest Park. Dry taps, but 4 feet of water in the house. PNM can't run this country. I want to tell this government, you see, being the Christmas season, your days are getting shorter. Start packing all your bags. Because you see, we young, brilliant MPs, they're ready. Let me tell you what they already told our leader.
I come for this
he tell the boss lady, he coming for Heinz work. All our MPs ready, so we come in. To you, my people of Trinidad and Tobago, be the change you wish to see in Sweet Auntie. I thank you. Good night.
Thank you, Sharon. Can we do better than that? Give her a bigger round of applause. My sister, my colleague from the Caratal area, Sharon Badal, Ayhew, a new councillor but hard-working for the people of Tabaquis on the other side. And she borders me. Tell you we're starting it here tonight. No. PNM put out a fellow called Ramsing. I don't know if it's Ramsing Sharma. I ain't going there tonight. But he calls himself Ramsing. He's from the constituency of Couva South, MP Indar Singh's constituency, I think. And he will be bringing to you all a lot of bat and balls. Bat and balls. He like to give out balls. All right? So take the balls and take the bat and bat him away. All right? So when he comes to you, we're starting it now. I want you to ask him, are you satisfied with his government, how they've been running the state of the economy? Ask him if you're satisfied with the unemployment rate of our young men and women in this country for the last 9 years. I want you to ask him if he's happy with his prime minister and how they're doing the high murder rate and crime rate in our country for the last 9 years. I want you to ask him if his government is into transparency. I want you to ask him if he's satisfied with the high food prices in our supermarkets. And I know MP Kadijah Ameen will talk a bit more on that. I want you to ask him here in Pointe-a-Pierre if he's happy that his government shut down Petrotrin Refinery, my brothers and sisters. And I will say more later. We have a young man coming up here in our next councillor. But before he comes up, I want to say a few things. No other government has misled and gaslighted its citizens like this present government. Every year they come with a basket of projects to fool you, the population, and not a single one has been delivered in 9 years. 1 year they promised a plywood factory. Never happened. 1 year they promised a marina in Tobago. Yet to be done. Next year, they promise a rim factory, an aluminum wheel rim factory. They're promising that for the last 9 years. That will not happen. Then they came with a Labray dry dock. When they shut down the refinery, said they will create jobs and they will open our Labray dry dock. We're still waiting on that Labray dry dock. Never happened. In the last election, they promised you the San Fernando waterfront. They promised jobs and infrastructure from this project. All the people of San Fernando, all we have received, and Macamillion will tell you that, all we have received is a car park, cost over $100 million. With the election on the horizon, they will come again with this project called the Waterfront, San Fernando Waterfront, and I know Dr. Moonilal will talk on that, and to hide the rampant suffering of many in San Fernando, especially in the Marabella area. And I have the pleasure here to bring up Councillor from Marabella West, the dynamic, handsome, young, the women say he handsome. I don't know about that, right? His name is John Michael Alibocas, better known as Maka. Maka, come on up and give them your seat.
We voting for UNC. I said we voting, and we not voting. John Michael is working. We voting for UNC.
Good night, everyone. Good night, my UNC family. To the Honorable Kamala Prasad Bisesa, MPs, Senators, Aldermen, Councillors, and my UNC family. Young people have the capability to excel and act as agents of change. However, the majority of youths are facing disadvantage and lack of opportunities. The areas that can help empower young people to navigate their future more successfully includes 1. Supportive networks. Limited access to positive role models, supportive adults, and mentors. This can leave youths feeling isolated. Recommendation, each one teach one, mentoring camps in any given field of world music, playwrights, sports, fashion, art, etc. 2. Opportunities for internship and part-time jobs are limited, making it challenging for young people to gain practical experience in their fields of interest. Even if you are qualified, jobs would not hire you because you lack relevant experience. Many young people who enter the OJT program, despite qualifications, are not placed in the areas of study, so there is a disconnect between education and training. 3. Mental health support. A lack of job opportunities can lead to social and economic exclusion, low self-esteem, and a sense of frustration and hopelessness. Many young people, individuals, struggle with mental health issues such as anxiety, past trauma, and depression. Access to mental health resources is very limited, and there are criteria to qualify. 4. Life skill training for under 25. Positive coping skills and building resilience, the ability to bounce back after and there's no system in place in order to take care of them. When they get the grant, there is not enough, the grant is not enough in order to suffice groceries. It might just pay the rent. So we need to put something in place for that. Workshops, conferences, boot camps, and fairs. And finally, 6, entrepreneurship and vocational skill training. Young people, creativity can open. Yes. Young people, creativity can open doors for better future for all. Give them a chance to turn their ideas into reality, whether they be projects, policies, or business. John Michael Alibocas, thank you for having me. MP, David Lee, thank you.
Thank you, Maka. I didn't know you had ended so short, but can we give it up to Maka Million, the councillor for Marabella West, his first term serving as a councillor. He's doing tremendous work in the San Fernando West area. For the depressed people, especially on the line, can we give it up for Maka Million? Mr. Alibocas, thank you so much for coming, for the love in Pointe-a-Pierre. We have a massive crowd here in this junction. A massive crowd, my brothers and sisters. And they'll say Pointe-a-Pierre are marginal. But when you see this massive crowd here tonight, I think we could rival Dr. Moonilal in Oropochis or Barry Padarath in Princestown. No longer would Pointe-a-Pierre be considered a marginal after tonight. Thank you so much for coming out in your numbers. Before I bring up our third speaker here tonight, I wanted to say a few things. In 2 days, we will mark one of the darkest days in Pointe-a-Pierre and Trinidad and Tobago's history. November 30th, Saturday coming, would mark 6 years since the government destroyed the patrimony of our nation when they shut down our Petrotrin refinery. 6 years later, in November 2018, we are going to be November 30th, 2024, on Saturday. 6 years later, every aspect of our nation has been rocked and affected by the closure of this refinery. Tonight, I ask the Prime Minister, are you content that thousands of former Petrotrin employees are still without jobs to this very day? Prime Minister, are you happy that hundreds of small fence-line businesses collapsed throughout Marabella, San Fernando, Cuba, Gasparillo, and even in the PNM communities of San Fernando East? Prime Minister, are you satisfied that all of Trinidad and Tobago is suffering from a forex shortage due to the loss of millions of US once earned by Petrotrin? Prime Minister Rowley, tell us, 6 years later, are you proud that this nation's energy security has been destroyed? Up to this day, Heritage is yet to produce more than Petrotrin. I want to say on the forex situation and Petrotrin, we have a Freedom of Information letter response that we filed. A gentleman, a hero, I call him Mr. Dobson. I want to tell you the reasons. One of the biggest reasons why we have a forex crisis in our country is because of that Petrotrin shutdown and not earning US dollars. I want to tell you, brothers and sisters, we have the information here. And I'll just give you 1 year, between the 1st of July 2023 to the 30th December, September 2024, this government, via Pariah, has purchased $1.7 billion US dollars in purchasing fuel for our country. $1.7 billion US dollars that they would have to find to purchase over the last year for fuel for our gas stations and for economy. And now you see why we have a shortage of forex, because before, Petrotrin was a net earner of foreign exchange. Before I bring on this gentleman, the Pariah tragedy that we all know about, that commission of inquiry, one lawyer for Pariah, a senior counsel, we have it here, so I'm not talking out that I don't know the numbers. That one individual, that senior counsel lawyer, for his work in the commission of inquiry for Pariah, was paid $8.9 million. That one lawyer. And up to today, MP Indar Singh will tell you, and myself, because we've been fighting for the families, up to the day, those families of that tragedy have not received 1 cent. But one lawyer has received over $8.9 million. If that is not a heartless government that we have, I don't know what is. So before I bring up my thing, I want to say hello to my colleague, MP Rishi Sicharan, the member for Karen East. Thank you for coming all the way from Karen East, Rishi, to lend your support. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a gentleman. His name, he's young, he's a veteran. His name is Ramchand Rajbal Maraj. He comes as a Sabaneta, Point Lisas, a veteran in the local government industry. I want to bring him up, young man. We call him Raj the man. Come on up, Raj.
Thank you. Member of Parliament for Pointe-a-Pierre, and soon will be Member of Parliament for Claxton Bay. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished and hardworking members of Parliament, my councillor colleagues, friends and relatives of the United National Congress that are here with us live and those on the live stream. I know our party is strong, and you know our party is very strong as well. We are committed by a strong political leader of Kamla Prasad Bisesa, and we will go through the next 5 years in the government of Trinidad and Tobago. But when you pick up the newspaper that I did this morning, the murder toll for yesterday was 557. 557. And we must give Fitzgerald Hines a pat in the back for that record-breaking total. You know why they do not want to move Fitzgerald Hines? They say that it will look bad on the PNM side if they move Fitzgerald Hines. But he's not good looking anyways. So what it matters? Ladies and gentlemen, who could have believed or think from 2010 to 2015 we would be in this state of affairs that we are in Trinidad and Tobago? Who would have thought that? If you say you, well, you're good to go here, crystal ball you have. Ladies and gentlemen, murder, mayhem, invasion, kidnapping, you name it. People are frustrated. As a matter of fact, I was a victim of home invasion in 2022. And my wife lived 5 months after that. How? Who will pay for that? I am going to ensure that we move out this PNM government in office because we are living in a state of fight, of neglect, of corruption, of mismanagement, and necpotism. Nepotism and manipulation are the order of the day by this government. After 9 years, going to 10 years, this government has spent over $600 billion. $600 billion. And what do they have to show for that? Compared to 2010 and 2015, and I must give our UNC MPs and ministers, let's give them a round of applause for those 2010 to 2015. We have building to show up on. The cricket stadium, the children's hospital, the velodrome, the cycle, you name it, all over. What they have to show? They closed down Petrotrin, they closed down County 1975 Limited, and they're going to close down the business industry in Trinidad and Tobago. Business are falling apart because of this forex. They can't get. My brothers and sisters, we have been having meetings. Our party is strong, I said. There is no division. We have a strong leader. We have strong MPs. We have strong councillors. We have been meeting with the public every Sunday for the Sunday briefing. We have this pavement report, and I'll tell you something. This pavement report is an indication when the election bell is tolled, we will be using the same pavement to head to the polling station across Trinidad and Tobago. Then we have the Monday night forum report and then our town meeting. So if you say, or if people who want to say that the UNC is telling people nothing, is either they're deaf or they're dumb or they're born psycho. Because 4 things happen every week. It is in your television, in your home. You just click on and you're getting information from the UNC. My brothers and sisters, when you talk to the business people, when you talk to the citizens going to put security, and everything else to make your life a better one in Trinidad and Tobago. Enjoyment of property. That is what we need in this country right now. We have been denied by the banditries of this country because of that. Ladies and gentlemen, people cannot socialize in the evenings as they used to. The bar operators have to close up early, which is not good for my health. So I want to tell you, make no bones about it. We are a strong party. I keep on emphasizing that. Do not let the detractors sway you otherwise. Get up early, support our leader, support our MPs, support our councillors, because we are being denied of services by this government, and we must understand that. You wouldn't believe the kind of problems local government practitioners are facing on a daily basis by Faris Al-Rawi and Colin Imbut, or Colbert and Imbut. Ladies and gentlemen, but all that will overturn. Power is what they want, but they can't control. We could control power, we could run power, we could enhance power, and we could benefit our people because of power. God bless, ladies and gentlemen. Make no bones. United National Congress is the only way to go. Thank you.
Thank you, Raj. Now you see why we call him Raj Demand. A veteran in the local government area, a true son of the soil. And whenever that bell is called, I know UNC has Raj Demand at their side. Now, he didn't say anything about Ramsing. He told me tonight he was going to talk about Ramsing, but he got a little bit exuberant and he forgot. He forgot. Massive crowd here in the junction. My brothers and sisters, again, I thank you for coming out in your numbers here tonight. The weather is doing us well. Before I go on, and Rajbal was up here, I really want to mention two of our councillors here tonight, and I should have done it at the beginning. And really and truly, I would like you to say, keep them in your prayer tonight. That is Councillor Gangaram Gopal. He's recovering, but he had a little setback a couple of days ago, and we have him in our prayers, and I ask you to pray for him. And also, Councillor Kern Ramden in our Marabella East, the UNC representative in the San Fernando Corporation. Kern, our prayers are with you, and we know you will come back stronger than ever. So our prayers are with you. Before I bring on the next, my sister, I call her. I met her 9 years ago, right here in this junction. Right here, because she lives a couple houses away from this junction. 5 years ago, and I will tell you before I bring her on, to eradicate, 5 years, we took 5 years to eradicate flooding for good. These were the words of Rohan Sinanan in the Trinidad Newsday, 24th of May, 2020. 5 years later, flooding is now at a nationwide crisis. Each time rain falls, right here in Claxton Bay, all our councillors, myself, we tremble. We are worried. Given the situation, we know what transpires due to heavy downpours of rain right here in our Claxton Bay area. Trinidad and Tobago, it is unacceptable that hundreds of thousands across every region of our nation have to live in fear when it rains because our government, this present government, has failed to deliver on the basic issues of maintaining our water courses and our waterways and rivers. Ask yourselves, where is the local government reform that was promised by Faris Alwari and Prime Minister Rowley to serve our communities? Over 1 year has passed and not a single reform to improve our local communities. Trinidad and Tobago, this is not simply about climate change, because every time we get a flood, wherever in Trinidad, Faris and Rohan jumps up and say it's a global warming issue. Everything is international. The problem that we have with flooding is not because we don't maintain the water courses and so forth. It's because global change is there. I mean, I want to use a word here tonight in this junction, but there are a lot of police here tonight, so I would hold my fire for a place that Rajbal said they close up very early. Trinidad and Tobago, it is, as I said to you, tonight is about you, the people of Pointe-a-Pierre, and Trinidad and Tobago. We are here to save our country. I want you to give up a big, rousing round of applause for my sister, Councillor for Claxton Bay. I think it is her third or fourth time as Councillor in our Pointe-a-Pierre constituency. None other than Nadia, my sister. Nadia Khan Mohammed. Come up, Nadia.
Honorable Kamala Prasad Bisasa, Leader of the Opposition, MP Dr. David Lee, Deputy Political Leader of the United National Congress, and my Member of Parliament for Pointe-a-Pierre. All other distinguished MPs, Senators who are present, fellow members of Council, my beloved burgesses of Claxton Bay, Pointe-a-Pierre, and the wider community of Trinidad and Tobago, good evening. Come on, let us hear Pointe-a-Pierre, good evening. That is better. It is with a deep concern and a sense of urgency that I stand before you today as your local government representative for the electoral district of Claxton Bay, Pointe-a-Pierre, to speak about the critical issues that are plaguing our communities, issues that affect each and every one of us in different ways, but with the same painful results: fear, insecurity, and loss of hope. I am talking about the rise in crime, the escalating threats to safety of our women, men, and children, and the widespread problem of extortion that has begun to take root right here in our neighborhoods. These are not just statistics or abstract issues. These are the lived experiences of our families, our friends, and our neighbors. As a community, we have always prided ourselves on our strength, our unity, and our resilience. But lately, that sense of safety and community has been eroded by the increasing presence of criminal activity right on our streets, from robberies and assaults to violent home invasions. People in Claxton Bay, Pointe-a-Pierre, and across the nation are feeling unsafe in their homes. The very place where we should feel the most secure is now a place of anxiety, where many of us lie awake at night wondering if our families are safe. I mean, I do it. I'm not sure if you all do it. And it is not just the men and young adults who are bearing the brunt of this insecurity. Our women are particularly vulnerable. The alarming rise in gender-based violence, sexual harassment, and domestic abuse is something that cannot be ignored any longer. Every day, women in this country are subjected to violence, fear, and threats that no one should ever have to endure. Whether it is in the home, on the street, or in the workplace, women are constantly under siege. And yet, we must ask ourselves, where is the protection? Where is the justice? Where is the leadership to ensure that every woman in this country can walk down the street without fear, return home without a threat of violence, and live her life without being made to feel less than human? These are questions that demand answers, but we cannot address these issues in isolation. There is an undeniable connection between the rise in crime and the economic challenges our country is facing. High inflation, the rising cost of living, and a lack of stable employment opportunities for young men and women are pushing many into desperation. When people feel they have no way out, no means of providing for their families, they often turn to crime as a means of survival. Our youth especially are being caught in this violent or vicious cycle without access to meaningful employment, without vocational training, and without opportunities to build a future. Too many of our young people are left vulnerable to the lure of criminal activities. We cannot ignore the role that economic disparity plays in the rise of crime. And let us be clear here, crime is not an isolated issue. It affects every aspect of our lives, our businesses, our homes, and our mental well-being. It diminishes our quality of life and disrupts our communities. But while the economic challenges are real, They cannot be an excuse for criminal behavior. We must take action now to break this cycle of crime and violence. And that begins with ensuring that every citizen has access to better opportunities. So just bear with me here. So I just want to provide some statistics that were taken from Trinidad and Tobago police website as recent as this morning under the heading Total Crime by month data report. So just listen to the figures, and this is just for this month alone. Possession of firearms and ammunition, 147 instances were detected. Burglaries and break-in, 140 instances detected. Larceny and motor vehicles, 131. Murders, 63. Imagine that, just this month. So what can we do to address these pressing issues? First and foremost, we need to invest in our youth. We need to create job opportunities, supporting entrepreneurship, and ensure that our young men and women have access to the training and resources they need to build a brighter future. We need to create a culture of hope, not hopelessness. That means working hand in hand with businesses, educational institutions, and community leaders to provide pathways for success, whether through vocational training programs, apprenticeships, or support for small business. In other words, we need to reintroduce the educational and vocational programs which were implemented under the astute leadership of the Honorable Kamala Persad-Bissessar when we had the best Prime Minister Trinidad and Tobago ever had. Secondly, we need to prioritize the safety of our citizens, especially women. This is not just about adding more police to the streets, though that is certainly part of the solution, but also about improving the relationship between law enforcement and the community. We need a justice system that is acceptable, accessible, efficient, and fair. We need to ensure that perpetrators of violence and extortion are held accountable, and that women who report abuse or harassment are taken seriously, protected, and supported through the legal process. Our law enforcement agencies need the resources, training, and leadership to combat these crimes effectively. Thirdly, we need to address the problem of extortion that is spreading throughout our communities. This criminal activity has a devastating impact on all our businesses, especially small businesses that are struggling to survive in a tough economic climate. No one should live in fear of being extorted for money, goods, or services. We need to send a clear message that extortion will not be tolerated and that law enforcement is equipped and empowered to take swift action against those who engage in such criminal activities. It is imperative that we foster an environment where individuals and businesses can thrive without that constant fear of exploitation. But none of this can be done without the active participation of you, the people of Claxton Bay, Pointe-a-Pierre, and all of Trinidad and Tobago. We need to unite as a community, government, law enforcement, and citizens, working together to create a society that is safe, just, and full of opportunity. This is not just a political issue, it is a moral issue. We have a responsibility to future generations to provide them with a society where they can grow, thrive, and contribute without fear. The solution to these problems lies not in rhetoric or promises, but in real, tangible action. It is time to build a Trinidad and Tobago where our streets are safe, where our women are protected, and where our young people have a future filled with opportunity. A future where crime is not the answer, but hard work, education, and respect for one another are the guiding principles. In conclusion, let me be clear. Our communities in Claxton Bay, Pointe-a-Pierre, and beyond deserve better. We all deserve a life free from fear, a life where we can walk the streets without looking over our shoulders. We need leadership that listens to the needs of the people and takes decisive action to improve our communities. The fight against crime, violence, and extortion is one that we must all take up together. The Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago and his incompetent, unreliable, absent-minded Minister of National Security continues to fail us miserably. I stand here today committed to this cause, and I ask you to stand with me. Let us not allow another day to pass with our people suffering. Let us build the Trinidad and Tobago we know is possible, a nation where peace, safety, and prosperity are within reach for all. Thank you, and may God bless our nation.
Thank you, my sister Nadia. Nadia represents Claxon Bay, and we are in safe hands with Nadia as our local government rep right here. And she fights for the people on a daily basis, my brothers and sisters. The air is becoming rare. We're turning up the heat. You will see on the head table here with me are my colleagues from Parliament, my brother and one sister. One sister up here tonight. And she's so tall she could, I'll say more on that. But before I get into turn up the fire, turn up the heat, as Dr. Moonilal said, the fire will be turning up just now, shortly. I want to give you, the people of Pointe-a-Pierre, my brothers and sisters, our family, a round of applause for our councillors who represented here tonight. Can we give them up? Sharon Badal Ayhew, Councillor for Caratal Tortuga. John Michael Alibocas, better known as Macamillion, Councillor for Marabella West. Ramchand Rajbal Maraj, better known as Rajdiman, Councillor for Savanetta Point Lisas. And our last sister, my sister, Shazida Nadia Khan Mohammed, our councillor, our homegrown, right here, Claxon Bay, Pointe-a-Pierre. Can we give them a big, big round of applause, and we thank them. Tonight I'm not hearing any mother of the nation at all. I think he's drowned out by the amount of people in this junction here tonight. And the lion, Dr. Moonilal, is amazed at this massive crowd. He's even amazed that it doesn't happen in Oropuchis. All right? So he will come. He'll come shortly. My brothers and sisters, before I bring up the next speaker here, my sister, I want to remind you something. And tonight I want to ask you, my brothers and sisters, and the country listening, I want to remind them. It was this PNM who destroyed Petrotrin after decades of success. Don't let them come and fool you on Saturday. It was this PNM, you remember, who closed down Caroni. It was this PNM who destroyed Atlantic Train 1 and wasted your taxpayers' money of over $240 million. It was this PNM who bought Point Lisas, our MP for endorsing Cuba South and Cuba North, to its knees, my brothers and sisters. That is why we are also suffering for foreign exchange. It was this PNM who removed the fuel subsidy 5-6 times, and that is why we are paying high prices at the gas stations. It was this PNM that cut gate. It was this PNM who brought back property tax to you, my brothers and sisters. It was this PNM who have presided over the worst crime and murder rate in our country for the last 9 years. And it was this PNM who has driven our oil and gas production to its lowest. Now let us compare that to our honorable leader, Kamala Persad-Bissessar, who created and built schools under her leadership, like with Dr. Moonilal and others like Dr. Tim Gobi Singh between 2010 and 2015. How many schools did Dr. Tim and the honorable leader build? Over 100 schools, my brothers and sisters. It was this UNC led by the honorable Kamala Persad-Bissessar who gave out laptops to all our children, my brothers and sisters. It was us, the UNC led by Kamala Persad-Bissessar. She did it between 2010 and 2015, and when she returns to government as our Prime Minister, she will do it again, my brothers and sisters. So, as I said, the air is rare. Fire is coming up. I have a pleasure of bringing up my sister. My sister, no other, who will be coming and talking about food prices and anything she wants to talk about. I give her free rein here tonight. Can we give it up, the love of Pointe-a-Pierre, to our sister, our sister, none other than the MP for St. Augustine, Kadijah Ameen. Come up, my lovely sister.
My brother David Lee, the man who will return as the Member of Parliament for Point-a-Pierre. Don't let them tell all the Point-a-Pierre marginal. Point-a-Pierre is UNC and we will bring it home. My friends, before I start to talk about this cost of living and this wicked PNM government, I want to start by acknowledging my colleagues at the head table and our MPs who are here. Give them a round of applause. And I know I have to big up the Point-a-Pierre posse, but we have a St. Augustine posse in the house. I want the St. Augustine people to make some noise. My St. Augustine people, I love you, and I know that we are UNC and strong. My friends, apparently Keith Rowley had a press conference today. I really can't take that man on too much in my ears, so I really didn't listen to him. But the synopsis, the summary of it, he came to the press conference to say, okay guys, I will accept the big fat salary, and by the way, I'm traveling again, goodbye, I'm flying out. That was it. Oh, and yeah, Fitzgerald Hines, we're moving him. That was it in a nutshell. I wasn't impressed, but it has been years since we have been saying to the PNM, it is time for Fitzgerald Hines to go. He is a nasty man, he is incompetent, he is a non-performer, total failure. I don't know if all you remember when they call him Stinkmouth Hines. It was for a reason. And that occasion, Dr. Roodal Moonilal mic was on. No, in fact, the political leader's mic was on, and Dr. Moonilal was sitting close by. And if all you know the nasty things Hines was saying in the parliament across the floor to the political leader, commenting on her stockings and her legs. Nasty man, stink mouth man. And Dr. Moonilal, in defense of our woman, in defense of our political leader, tell him, why you don't hush your stink mouth? And that is what came over the mic. So that happened some time ago. But the man has not changed. His mouth still stink. His brain still not functioning. He's still an incompetent minister. And he and the PNM is responsible for thousands of murders and crimes in this country. We must not forget that. But I really didn't come to talk about Hines tonight. You know what is heavy on my mind? The PNM has raised the price of food items in this country. They have raised the cost of living and dropped the standard of living. It's not 9 years again, you know, because the last election was in 2020. We are at the end of 24. 25, we have August, make it 9 years. So we passed 9 years. Almost 10 years. The PNM has caused widespread suffering. The cost of living has become unbearable for ordinary citizens. And don't feel that businessmen and people who are doing better are any better off, because the skyrocketing prices for essential goods and services affecting everybody across the board. This PNM is no doubt that they have failed to manage the economy, and they are really causing hardship across the country. So tonight, whether you consider yourself in the category of poor, middle class, well-to-do, ask yourself, are you better off today than you were 9 or 10 years ago? Are you better off? The answer is no. I want to share with all you some food prices. Now, let me tell all you something. I am a mother. I have one child, and I just wonder how people who have more than one children just make out. Because you have to feed your children nutritious meals. It's not just feeding them to fill their belly. But what happens now with the increase in food prices that people, they might still buy, but their children are not getting nutritious meals. And it affects their growth and their development and their brain to focus in school. I want to call some prices of some basic food items and tell you how much it increased. Flour. You know them little 2 kg pack, the 5-pound pack? It used to be $12.99. It's now $18.49. The rice, the 2 kg pack, used to be $20. It's now $29. Margarine, blue band butter, used to be $7.99. It's now $15.75, $16. So that is almost double in price. Curry, whether you're making a curry stew, whatever you're doing, it used to be $6.99. Now it's gone up to $12, double the price. Corned beef used to be $14. Now corned beef is Mr. Corned Beef. Corned beef is now $27 for a tin of corned beef. You used to get chicken for that price. Sugar. One of them 18 milligram sugar, one of them 1800 gram sugar. It used to be $15.99. You know how much for that now? $26.95. $27 sugar. From $15 to $27. Full cream milk. Our children need milk for their bones and their teeth to grow. It moved. Now you beg, you need to drink milk. The children need milk. Our babies, our children, our young people, as they grow and develop, they need milk. Full cream milk. A little pack. You know that little pack? That used to be $9.99. You know how much for one of that now? $19. So that is more than double the price. Sardine used to be $6. It's now $14, more than double the price. Potato, aloo, you want to make some fried aloo, you want to make some mashed potato for your children. Potato used to be $2.50. You know how much for it now? $6. $6. Garlic, everybody using garlic. From $10 it gone to $15. Onion, from $2.50 it gone to $5.95. This wicked PNM government is responsible for that. And that is affecting everybody across the board. People who vote for PNM don't pay less in the grocery when they go to make groceries, to buy food for their family. Today, I want to tell you, in 2015, under the UNC government, a little grocery list, when I add it up, that would have cost $109 in 2015. Today, costs $190. $190. We're doing the maths. So that, my friends, is a staggering $80 or 73% increase. So it's not a joke we make when we said that the price of food has gone up. But while food prices increase, and I call some basic items and I tell you it's 73% more. How much percent the public servants get? How much percent the government workers get? How much percent Rowley get? All right. Diesel, you have to go to work, you have to take a taxi. Taxi prices going up because diesel prices went up. From $4.91 per liter, they've gone up to $4.99. You know how much it was in 2015? $1.50. Super gasoline used to be $2.70 under the UNC. You know how much it is now? $6.97 at the pump. Well, I call it $7, right? So you move from $2.70 to $7 at the pump. So the mama guy, we were telling minimum wage thing the other day. It's minimum wage for some, but not for some. And you see, that kind of mama guy, move from by me with that. Move, tell Rowley, move. Rowley not interested in raising anybody pay except his own. And we saw that today. We saw that today. When we have businesses, simple small businesses, who can't even use their own money, their own credit card to buy goods, that lack of access to foreign exchange is pushing up the prices of imported goods. And it is hitting consumers and small businesses real hard. The Minister of Finance, on the 5th of June this year, come to boast that according to the IMF, the financial sector appears to be sound and stable. Sound and stable where? Sound and stable where? You hear lie? That is lie. This week, just this week, the Guardian told us, IMF said TNT's foreign exchange restrictions are, hear this, not consistent with the fund's article of agreement. The IMF comment follows heightened concerns about foreign exchange supply constraints. So who telling the truth? Who do you want to believe? The economists at the IMF, or you want to believe the Minister of Finance? Who you want to believe? Emmett or the IMF? It's up to you to know what the truth is. But I want to tell you something. We don't just stand and condemn the PNM. Under the UNC, I want to tell you something. You see, fuel prices were stable under the UNC. The fuel subsidies under the UNC were made gas affordable to our citizens, so our citizens benefited. In agriculture, the UNC invested in local agriculture, and you know what that did? It reduced the food import bill to Trinidad and Tobago. It made it more dependable so that local farmers could have sale for their products rather than foreign goods coming in to compete with it. And you know what? Less foreign exchange spending. But the PNM don't want that because their friends and family and financiers are the importers. My friends, under the UNC, the social support for our most vulnerable was intact. We had increased accessibility to grants and social welfare programs to give relief to low-income families. You know what? In St. Augustine, let me tell you something. I understand that anybody who gets a social welfare grant, they say 1 grant per person. So if you are getting disability grant, $1,800, and you are getting a food card, well, that makes sense, right? You are disabled, you cannot work, so you get a disability grant and you get a food card to buy food for yourself. You know what they said? None of that. Cut out. Only one. So people who are on disability grant, this government take it back. They leave them with the food card, or they take back the food card and leave them with the disability grant. Tell them it is time for PNM to go. It is time for them to go. My friends, when you go to the grocery to buy food, I want to tell you that your children's education is top of your mind because that takes from your salary too. In terms of education support, we had free laptops for children, and we had free textbooks under the UNC. We had meals to help families manage the cost while supporting their children. But I want to tell you, you see that performance under the UNC? It has to come back. We must vote for Kamala Persad-Bissessar to return as Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. And you know what you will be voting for? You will vote for reduced food prices because the UNC will invest in modern agriculture to boost local production and reduce import dependency. We will encourage foreign investment. We will boost foreign exchange access. And you know what we will also do? Job creation. How many people are without jobs? How many people who have their degree working in a gas station, working in fast food? We will have a master economic recovery plan for Trinidad and Tobago with the East-West Biotechnology Manufacturing Corridor. the Piarco Aircraft Maintenance, Repair and Operations Hub, and that is in the heart of St. Augustine constituency at the airport. We will have the Tamana Solar Tech Renewable Energy Park. We will have the Brechin Castle Agro-Processing Complex. Down in Cedras, we'll have the Cedras Maruga Southwest Peninsula Economic Zone. So I want to tell you tonight, I want to talk to a few categories of people. You see, government workers, tonight, Rowley accept that his salary is going from 60-something thousand to $80,000 a month. And you, with your little 4%, you better know who you're voting for. Vote to get rid of Keith Rowley. The cost of living has gone up exponentially, and the cost of salaries, the salaries have gone up, must be 4%. Look, my brother from the NUGFW there. 4% they gain them. And I want to give our next message to a category of people who are fighting the UNC. I want to ask you, if PNM is the problem, why are you fighting the UNC? Then you are part of the problem. I want to ask you, if PNM is the problem and you are fighting the UNC, I want to ask you, who is funding you? I want you to ask yourself when they come by your doorstep, who is funding them? And then you will know their agenda. Know who their friends and financiers, because I can tell you, I don't want to call names tonight, but there are PNM financiers and PNM contractors who are funding some of those people. So know what you're doing. Know who you're opening your door for. The United National Congress is strong. Every family has their squabbles. UNC came out of an internal election. I don't know, it has some people like media, they're going up on the media, they're talking more than the number of votes they have. But we passed that stage. We are united as a United National Congress. And it is unfortunate that there are some people who feel it's okay to wash your dirty linen in public. And sometimes they're creating dirty linen, they're making up stories. But I want to tell you something, it ain't nice in the PNM, you know. The PNM, they're fighting to know who will be the next leader. Kamla Prasad Bisesa got over 20,000 votes in the UNC internal election to become the political leader of this country. And that election was held in one day. All you know, that for Rowley to become the leader of the PNM, he only got 8,000 votes, less than half of what Kamla Prasad Bisesa got. And the voting was for 2 days, so it was 4,000 votes a day. Let me just average it. And that is what we have passing over there. But I want to tell you that even in the PNM, there are people who agree that Rowley is an incompetent and uncaring political leader and prime minister. And it is time for Rowley to go. It is time for him to go. I want to talk to our next category of people tonight. You see, those of you who come from households where your parents are PNM till are dead, I know the pain. I know all you're feeling. I have some family like that, you know, they're PNM till are dead, but eventually we will all die, you know, we'll all die. But the children of the PNM till are dead households, you are big man and woman now. Your mother or father may have made you vote for PNM when you turn 18, but now is the time for you to think for yourself. Now is the time for you to vote for yourself. Now is the time for you to vote for who will give your children laptops. Now is the time for you to vote for better health care. When you go in the hospital, you shouldn't be lying down on the ground waiting for days to get attention. Now is the time for you to vote for better roads. All them landslip and pothole mashing up your car. Know who you're voting for. So this is not about whether you like PNM or you grew up in a PNM household. This is about you. Older people, vote for your grandchildren to get laptops when they go in school. This time around, I am saying to people who would have voted PNM before, vote for yourself. If you vote for yourself and you vote for what is better for yourself, you will vote for Kamla Prasad Bisesa to return as Prime Minister. I thank you.
Oh God. Oh God, can we give it up? Can we give it up for the MP for St. Augustine, none other than the tall, beautiful Kadijah Ameen. It's a good thing Kadijah's parents fed her before the food prices went up, because she was able to grow. She was able to grow. I took note of that. I took note of that. The air is coming rare again, and I want to really thank our police officers, our hard-working police officers here tonight, and ensuring our safety and the traffic flows. I thank you, Sergeant, and his team for the St. Margaret's Police Station, hard-working police officers and that keep our communities safe. With a little bit more resources that this government can give them, you could imagine what they can do to keep our communities safe. The People's Partnership, according to Kadijah, if I can add something here, under Kamla Prasad Bisesa, was a government of delivery, my brothers and sisters. They delivered. All the Prime Minister Kamla Prasad Bisesa's ministers, they all delivered for our country. They were second to none. This Rowley administration is a government of recusals. They recuse themselves to benefit friends and financiers, while you battle, as Kadijah said, the cost of living prices and the crisis that we have in. They attack the independent arms of the state when their untruths are exposed, my brothers and sisters. So, I want you to give it up, really give it up, a rousing round of applause. Back in 2020, we had him right here in the junction. They call him Peppermouth. Peppermouth, the MP for Princess Town, none other than Barry Padarath. Come on up, Barry, and give them some fire and some pepper.
I jump the wall about 12 o'clock and I'm gone inside. Stand up there, the people sweat me high, open wide. Everybody inside there like they're getting hard. But when I watch out their faces, knock my yo, like they're going mad. It must be the budget that the man from White Hall agreed. Cause all of them inside that they like they suck and crazy seed. That kind of hair couldn't come from weed. This is not a blending here, this is madness. This is not the kind of jam where you start like a choopy begging for.
Clarkson Bay. Point up here, are you here with us this evening? Political leader of the United National Congress and the best Prime Minister Trinidad and Tobago has ever had, the Honorable Kamla Prasad Bisesa, who's looking on to the Pavement Report live from the constituency of Pointe-a-Pierre. Our host, Member of Parliament, and our Deputy Political Leader and Chief Whip, Dr. David Lee, the Lion himself from the constituency of Urupuch East, another Deputy Political Leader and a firebrand inside and outside of the Parliament, Dr. Roodal Moonilal, parliamentary colleagues, Arnold Ram, Dr. Rishi Sicharan, MP Kadijah Ameen, MP Ravi Ratiram, MP Rudy Indar Singh, neighboring right here, close by in Couva South. I think also the MP for Shogunas East is somewhere in the midst. That is MP Vandana Mohit. Brothers and sisters from the local government fraternity, supporters, well-wishers of the UNC, all good evening. Now you see, I specifically chose that song because David Rudder once sang, "This is not a fete in here, it is madness." This is not a fete in here, this is madness. You see, on Sunday, MP Rudy Indar Singh and myself, followed by the political leader on Monday, smoked out Rowley After 3 weeks of silence, it was your United National Congress members of parliament. It was your United National Congress political leader, Kamla Prasad Bisesa, who dropped blows and put pressure on Rowley that today he could have ducked, but he couldn't run. He was forced to answer to you, the people of Trinidad and Tobago. The bottom line, today he huffed, he puffed, he tried to blow the whole house down. But he finally admitted sheepishly. You could have barely hear him. I think at one point the media people had to ask him, Prime Minister, could you speak a little louder? We cannot hear you. When he admitted, Kadijah told you $80,000. It's not $80,000. It's $87,000 a month. The Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago will now be paid with your taxpayers' dollars. 3 weeks they filed the report. They laid the report in the Parliament, the SRC report. 3 weeks passed. They asked every man jack on the PNM side. One of them, Leon's, jump out and say, well, he ain't feel the Prime Minister will accept it. That is to tell you that the left hand does not know what the right hand is doing in the PNM. There are those who are not part of the decision-making process. There are those who don't have a say. And there are those, like in the Eric Williams days, when they say, not a damn dog bark, you dare not bark inside of that cabinet. But today, Rowley came out because he had no choice. The public pressure from the UNC, the public pressure that came from the trade unions, the public pressure that came from civil society, he had no choice but to break his silence today. But we ask ourselves why he chose today. Today, brothers and sisters, it was by no strange coincidence that the Prime Minister chose to break his silence today. We are going into the Christmas season. Parang, fete. But the only people getting ham, jam, and lamb is Rowley with $87,000 a month. And you have to ask yourselves, after 3 weeks laying the report in the Parliament, why you come today? It is because they expect that when you go into the festivities of Christmas, that he will get this a big back pay of $1.1 million. He will get the first installment of $87,000 a month. But you will forget that they tell you, don't eat macaroni pie and don't eat ham. This Christmas, when you cannot put ham and macaroni pie on the plate, remember, great is the PNM. Rowley will now get $87,000 a month. This Christmas, when you cannot bring a smile to your child's face with a toy, remember, great is the PNM. Rowley now makes $87,000 a month. This Christmas, when you cannot bake a sweet bread or a black cake because grocery prices are so high, remember, great is the PNM. Rowley making how much? $87,000 a month. This Christmas, when you cannot afford to put up a string of lights for the season, remember, great is the PNM. Rowley making how much? $87,000 a month. Brothers and sisters, we told you so, that they do not care about you. And the question you must ask yourselves, all of Trinidad and Tobago, after 10 years, are you better off than you were under Kamla Prasad Bisesa? After 10 years, are you better off now than under Kamla Prasad Bisesa? I want to tell you, they came in the budget in October
And they gave CPEP workers and URP workers how much increase? How much? $2. After riding the backs of their supporters, and you know them is get vexed with me in the parliament. But I'll tell you why they get vexed with me in the parliament. You see, when I stand up and I tell Hines, I tell Stuart Young, I tell Rowley, I say, you have been in government for over 60 years in this country, and look at the condition of Laventille. Look at the condition of Port of Spain South. These people have voted nothing but the People's National Movement. They have kept you in government for over 60 years. You continue to ride their backs inside government, election after election, because there's PNM till they're dead. But look at the squalor that they continue to keep you living in. And therefore, when they come with $2 in the budget, and they give CPEP and URP workers, that is a slap. That is not just a slap, you know. That is a spit in your face. It is a spit in your face to give URP and CPEP workers $2 increase in the budget. But 1 month later, you come to give yourself $87,000 a month, $1.1 million in back pay. I want you all to remember, you all remember a woman called Donna Cox? When people were lining up in this country for hampers, she said they were what? They were greedy. You know in the SRC report how much increase she gets in a month? $12,000 a month every cabinet minister will get. So they will move from $41,000 a month to now $53,000 a month. When Scotland told y'all to ride your bicycle to work and cook your food on a coal pot, y'all remember that? He will move from $41,000 a month to $53,000 a month. Y'all remember Al-Rental, Al-Recusal, Faris Al-Rawi? Family living large. $20 million in rent per year. He will now get an increase of $12,000, moving from $41,000 to $53,000 a month. When Shamfa told you people not suffering in Tobago, that she could get almond milk and multigrain bread, and I'll remember when she told us that, she said, we are in charge now and you will have to deal with it. Trinidad and Tobago, you will now have to deal with cabinet ministers getting $53,000 a month. Tonight, I want to call out the Prime Minister again right here in Claxton Bay, Soledad Road. You see, when the media pressed the Prime Minister today in the press conference, they say, Prime Minister, what is the process you will now use to institute the SRC report? Now, when I hear that, my ears cock up. Because the process used by every other government when an SRC report was laid in the parliament was for there to be a debate. Now, some fellas just get vexed. Kadijah talk about internal elections. I talk about PNM A team and B team. Some of them is get vexed. But I have a challenge to throw out to the PNM A team and the PNM B team here tonight. Rowley said, when he spoke to the media today, that it will take a ministerial order, a circular, a memo from the Minister of Finance to bring about these new SRC rates. And that is the road that they are going to go down. Now, they understand the political climate in this country. They understand that the unions are totally against them. The same man who was dragging mannequin of Kamla Prasad Bisesa today will tell you that the worst government in the history, the most corrupt government in the history, is led by Prime Minister Keith Rowley. The same man who was dragging mannequin of Kamla today will tell you Keith Rowley is the worst thing that has ever happened to this country. You see what is happening with the Public Service Association, WASA workers, TNTech workers, 4%. Imbert telling Wigot, take it or leave it. MP Endarsing having to call him out. You have no damn business in the negotiation process. And the opposition will stand with Kamla Persad-Bissessar in the gap for workers in this country. Tonight, I want to really congratulate my colleague for Couva South, because had it not been for people like Rudy Endarsing, Roodal Moonilal and others in this party together with Kamla Persad-Bissessar, Crapo smoke we pipe. And you want to ask yourselves, who is leading the charge against the PNM? When they marked Boss about the SRC report, who was the one exposed it? It was the UNC. When they had the fake oil scandal, who was the one who exposed it? It was the UNC. When you had the police commissioner fiasco, who was the one who exposed it? It was the UNC. So when people tell you that the opposition is asleep, let them know today. You know, I saw the front page of the papers, The Guardian, and I really like them. The Guardian had Kamla under fire. So I said, well, let me see what this Kamla under fire is about. Of all the people criticizing Kamla Persad-Bissessar, it's Stink Mouth Hines. So tomorrow, in light of the information we've shared with you, seeing that today the headline was Kamla under fire, I expect tomorrow headline to be is that Stink Mouth Hines was fired. Because they have refused. Do not take the basket from the PNM. They know that they have to make some cosmetic changes. So they will do some shifting around with people that because they know their own polling is telling them that people like Camille and Hines and Stuart Young, we must never let Stuart Young and the PNM forget in this country what they have said and done to our political leader, Kamla Persad-Bissessar. Kadijah Ameen told you when Dr. Roodal Moonilal stood up in the parliament and he told Hines, shut your stink mouth. Dr. Moonilal could have easily do like Stuart Young and come and apologize in the parliament, you know. Dr. Moonilal stood up because he's a deputy political leader. And you know what he said? He said, I am a deputy political leader of this party and I will not stand against disrespect for our political leader and women in this country. Dr. Moonilal didn't take the coward's way out. He went to the Privileges Committee. He went and he faced the music because he was standing on the right side of history. I told you a short while ago that I wanted to throw out a challenge to the PNM A team and the PNM B team, right? So here's the challenge. You all remember when we had the presidential vote? You all remember that? I want to remind you how the president is elected. So all the MPs, the 41 of us, together with all members of the Senate, the Electoral College is convened. In the Electoral College, you are given a ballot and you go behind the speaker's chair and you vote for your party's nominee. Now, I always say, you see, nothing wrong with having an independent voice. Nothing wrong with having your own train of thought. Nothing wrong with them thing. But anytime you go with Tassa Drum and Steel Pan and Moko Jumbi to UNC headquarters and you ask to fight on a UNC ticket, when the UNC makes a decision, it is expected that every man jack follow suit. So here's the challenge tonight. Starting with the Prime Minister. Do not take the coward's way out and have Imbert do a ministerial order. Bring the debate on the Salary Reviews Commission report to the Parliament. Let all 41 members of Parliament say publicly, and not only say, let them vote. Because when you look at previous Salary Reviews Commission's report, it has been laid in the Parliament, it has been debated in the Parliament, And a division has been taken where every single member of parliament says whether they vote yes or they vote no. So my challenge to the Prime Minister, if you're a man, you're afraid of no union, you're afraid of no election, bring the Salary Reviews Commission and let us debate it. All 41 members, let us register our vote. And it is then, it have a man in the parliament sitting down on our side of the bench, bravely saying that they will support legislation brought by the government to just bring special majority vote, and they will support it. We have seen the level of brutality that they have inflicted, whether it is crime, food prices, healthcare in this country. And you want to vote with the People's National Movement, the people who are responsible for the suffering throughout the length and breadth in this country? Now is the time, as the leader tells us, to put metal in your spine and fire in your belly. There are those of us who are prepared and willing to stand up and fight. Will you stand up and fight with us? We must put on our battle gear, but we must also not be afraid to call a spade a spade. Listen, over the past year or two, I have seen a renewed interest. I've seen a renaissance. I've seen the lioness in Kamla Prasad Bisesa. So today when she came out from them, I want to say from this platform tonight, you see the UNC heavyweights that find themselves here? I ain't only talking about Moonilal and myself and so on. I'm talking about you, the backbone of this party. We're not backing down on that migrant issue. We are not. Because we are not calling for legal migrants to be sent back. We are calling for the illegal ones, the ones who commit crime. So when we told them, come up with a comprehensive plan, determine how you will register them. You'll remember when we told them that there were over 100,000 migrants and they said, no, it's not so much. You'll remember those things? Brothers and sisters, while the election will come like a thief in the night sooner than later, you must find that metal that our leader continues to demonstrate day by day, night by night, in putting forward plans and policy, but also pushing back at the PNM. Today, you would have had higher water and electricity rates had it not been for Kamla Prasad Bisesa and the UNC going to every public consultation and pushing back. Today, the government is taking the position of wait, Dorothy, wait. I tell you, you take God out of your thoughts. And the first thing that they will do, higher water and electricity rates. One of the biggest issues right here in Soledad Road is the issue of water. They promised us 10 water modulated treatment plant, millions of dollars in a judgment between Lezama versus Wassa because the Minister of Public Utilities politically victimizing Wassa employees for not doing his bidding. And in the budget that just passed, $25 million allocated for something called what? Claims, settlement of claims. So the minister politically persecuting Wassa employees now have to dish out and fork out money to settle the claim, millions of dollars. They budget $25 million to settlement of claims, but they can't fix your road. They can't put water in your taps. They can't fix the existing mains and the corroded mains for the people in Soledad right here to get water. Now listen, as I close, you are the backbone of this party. You are the soldiers that come out night after night, whether it is to put up poster with flour and water on a lamp pole, whether it is go to a meeting and hold a banner, whether it is go out there and vote. But we must become warriors. We will equip you with what our message is. And our message is very clear. We must secure Trinidad and Tobago. Crime is the biggest issue. After crime, it's health care. after healthcare's cost of living. And the people of Trinidad and Tobago must answer whether or not they are better off today than they are better off when Kamla Persad-Bissessar and the UNC were in government almost 10 years ago. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, I know the air is rare. And the lion is prepared to roar here tonight. So I want to thank you for your love, your support, for a fantastic meeting here, but also for a wonderful member of parliament who's committed, who himself has become one of the strongest warriors in the front line of this party. I want to thank MP David Lee for being our host here this evening, for being a fantastic chief whip in the parliament, and for leading arm in arm with the rest of us for the most critical issues affecting us as a nation. Brothers and sisters, may God continue to bless you, and may God continue to bless our great nation, Trinidad and Tobago.
Thank you, Barry. Can we give it up to Peppermouth? Barry Padarath, the MP for Princess Town, but also on our national executive, Barry is our party organizer. So can we give him a round of applause? I was going to admonish him, you know. He said himself and Dr. Moonilal the heavyweights. I turned to the lion and said, but I think I'm a heavyweight too. But he came back at the end. So I thank you. I thank you. He pulled it back. He pulled it back. So I thank you. Now, the air is rare. This gentleman is going to come up here now, just now. But before he comes up, a birdie told me, his office manager, that I think his birthday is on Monday. Is that right, Dr. Moonilal? So I expect before he comes up, for all of us, a little couple seconds, if I can ask the DJ if he can play Badaba, what do you call it? Badaba. Because Solidad is Pointe-a-Pierre. Solidad and Pointe-a-Pierre is United National Congress. We don't have any PNM till you're dead in Pointe-a-Pierre. We don't have that. But we have people like Barry and Rudy Indar Singh and the Dr. Moonilal. Without their presence in our community, it would not be as powerful as it is here tonight. So, without further ado, I didn't use that word all night, I bring up, I can read out his education background, but we bored with that. I bring up our deputy political leader of the United National Congress, the MP for Oropuch East, none other than my brother, Dr. Roodal Moonilal, better known as the Lion. Can we get the birthday? Just for a couple seconds.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. The very distinguished Dr. David Lee, the Member of Parliament for the constituency of Pointe-a-Pierre and our brilliant Chief Whip, Shadow Minister of Energy and Energy Industries. Thank you for the wonderful introduction and a beautiful song, timely as well. It's a great evening to be here in Pointe-a-Pierre. I want to begin by acknowledging the presence in spirit of the honorable political leader, Mrs. Kamla Persad-Bissessar, who is listening, the mother of the nation, Melville, who is listening and following our arguments this evening. We have in our midst, of course, the very distinguished Member of Parliament for Princess Town, and I told him, whispered earlier to him, it is becoming very difficult to speak after Barry Padarath. It started in the internal campaign.
and it continues. So we want to thank Barry Padarath, our MPs with us this evening, our sister warrior Kadijah Ameen, Rudranath Indar Singh is here, Ravi Ratiram, Anal Ram, Dr. Rishi Sicharan, Ms. Vandana Mohit, members of the Michelle Benjamin, we understand, is also in our midst. Michelle Benjamin, a very dynamic warrior princess from Maruga Tableland. We have, of course, a battery of local government speakers gracing us with their presence earlier. Members of the local government fraternity, members of the national executive, brothers and sisters of Soledad Road. This evening I want to thank and congratulate Kevin Gibbs and the AV crew. I think that's the name of the crew they use, to bringing this broadcast live on our YouTube and Facebook. I want to welcome and thank those members of our party throughout Trinidad and Tobago, our supporters, well-wishers in Canada, in London, in the Caribbean, and a special night in the United States, although it is not our indigenous celebration, but I want to say happy Thanksgiving to our brothers and sisters of the UNC in the United States and throughout the world on this evening that has a great universal meaning, of course, to all of us, Thanksgiving evening. So thank you all and welcome. Brothers and sisters, this is a very special and emotional place for me because I was reminded by our brother Shanif earlier and other colleagues in Soledad Road. I see the Balkaran family as well here. I recognize, of course, many of our supporters in Soledad and surrounding communities. I came here 24 years ago to make a speech on the back of the truck. We had a truck, a trailer truck. And at this junction, 24 years ago, I spoke in support of the United National Congress, our candidates in a general election. And you have always requested my presence. And I have tried my very best when invited to be here to share with you in Soledad, Pointe-a-Pierre. I know the constituency has undertaken a change of name, I believe. A new name will come, but new name, all name, it is the United National Congress. It is Dr. David Lee. It is our councillors. It is a UNC victory in the next general election, whenever it shall come. Brothers and sisters, today we had two announcements today by the Prime Minister. Let me say that those announcements were shockingly expected. They were alarmingly anticipated. We knew it. You did not need a degree in nuclear physics to know that Rowley going to take a pay increase. And you really didn't need a degree in anything to know that Heinz will go. Today, this country, finally, we will see the rear of Heinz. An ugly sight as it may be, but Heinz on the way out is not news. That was in the bag already. We did not need the ladies in Lavantil West to tell us that Heinz must go, as they did. We knew he must go. There's a saying when somebody demit office, you normally say this is the end of an era. I want to tell you, with Heinz leaving, this is the end of many eras. Not an era, it's the end of many eras. So Heinz will go as he must. He has presided over what will be the highest murder rate in the history of Trinidad and Tobago. That Fitzgerald Heinz. He has done nothing. He has been a completely useless, hapless, clueless Minister of National Security. He is a walking disaster. He is the most incompetent minister to ever collect a government paycheck. Fitzgerald Heinz. And that is the good side of him. That is the good side. You don't want to hear the bad. He is a stink mouth par excellence. He is a magnum opus failure. And you all should Google that. It's a big failure.
The other day I saw him on TV, on news by accident. I was searching for football or cricket or something. Embarrassing, tell me a big match on. So I searching my flow looking for this cricket. I see him on the news. He playing with 2 drones. The American government gave a gift, they buy it, of 2 drones. Now you just buy a drone for your kid, for your child, to go and put up in the backyard and, play around or Mako neighbor or something like that. So he got 2 drones and he playing with that. I 2 toy for he. I toy. When we left office, we left them with helicopters, not drones. We left them with helicopters to monitor criminal activity, chase down bandits and so on. Hines and Stuart Young, they conspired. They did not repair. They went and hid the helicopter. And a few years later, you see a helicopter on that tarpaulin going Point Lisas to be shipped back. They paid what we expected, what we suspect to be $44 million. They had to return to the United States, the supplier of that chopper, because out of spite and malice, because the partnership and Kamla Prasad Bisasa invested in helicopter, they returned the helicopter. Today he playing with a drone. I want to tell him what to play with, but he playing with a drone, having returned choppers that could have helped. Did you all remember there was an escape from the prison a few years ago? They had to use a civilian, a non-military chopper to chase escaping prisoners. It crashed because the choppers we bought, they kept them in a state of disrepair and returned them. That is the malice. Today he playing with drones. Brothers and sisters, not surprisingly, he lost his wicket. I think some Marcel or Karim or somebody take his wicket out already. And Rowley announced today as if that's surprising. Well, he's not running back. We know he could not run back. He could only run forward when you're kicking water on him. He could not run back. We knew that. Brothers and sisters, he gone, presiding over this situation where you are scared in your own house. The other day they robbed the circus too. They robbed the circus. Only in Trinidad. Brothers and sisters, this is a country now where you don't know if it's real police or bandit. They have presided over the collapse of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, and I'll speak to that in a few minutes. They have presided over the collapse of the police in this country. Everything that could have gone wrong has gone wrong, brothers and sisters. And this evening I heard Dr. Lee telling you he made very important interventions while chairing this meeting today. Very important. Reminding you that not one relative of those victims, the divers, Paria, the divers tragedy, not one relative of a victim has received 10 cents, but the lawyer partner living in Inezgate in Tobago, I believe, with Rowley and Speaker and so on, got $9 million over the Commissioner of Inquiry. So he got $9 million and the families didn't get 9 cents. That is Keith Rowley and the PNM for you, brothers and sisters. They have built nothing. They have built nothing in 9 years. What achievement he has, and today our political leader, in a very strong condemnation press release on this salary increase, which I'll read in a bit, she reminded us that he has done nothing but claiming a salary increase. In Petrotrin, they closed down Petrotrin. This is a ghost town now. They made a deal with some conman with Nikon, gave away hundreds of $millions in asset for $10 million. You know that? They plug on this Nikon plant and it blow up. It blow up. Some conman come now. Listen, I want to tell you something. When you're in Port of Spain for a long time, like some of us, we know conman. They can't fool we. That same fella came to me when I was minister with some big plan. When I look at them, I know them. They just wear the most expensive looking suit. Not expensive suit, huh? The most expensive looking suit. They just take a towel and push it in the pocket. And the tie just look like silk or something, some underwear looking kind of tie and thing. They just wear these kind of clothes. They groom themselves pretty up and they come by you and say, project 100 million US, 200 million US. The bank financing us. And when they open the briefcase, they have an express and a piece of roti inside it. When they leave in my office, they say, boss, we could get $40 to take a maxi and go back. And they're talking about 100 million US and thing, I know these con men. They con Rowley with this Nikon thing. They con the contractor from nearby here too. He lost big there too. But we knew it, brothers and sisters, that cannot work. Close down the refinery. If we go now to plug on this refinery, might blow up San Fernando. We have to do all type of scientific testing, engineering studies and so on with that refinery to ensure that we can reopen it, create the jobs and get back into the business of refining. That is critical. Today, Guyana leading the world with oil production. Suriname next door have gas for the next 50 years. Our competitive advantage was always, it was never the actual commodity itself. We are small, but it was always being the business center, the energy capital of the Caribbean that would conduct all the business of energy while using the resources of Suriname, Guyana, and elsewhere. That was our vision. We had already had in plan, in train, that we will refine the products. We would refine oil from Guyana. We would make a deal with Suriname, get into business with them where we get gas there, and the gas-based industries in Trinidad and Tobago will expand, will increase. That is, again, what science you need to understand that. We have the human capital, we have the history, we have the technical people, we have the finance, we have the banking sector, the insurance sector, well developed. We had a strong private sector when we were in government. That was our vision, the vision of Kamla Prasad Bisesa. That is her vision for the future. So brothers and sisters, they come in, they say they're building the waterfront project in San Fernando. Anybody gone San Fernando recently by the fish market? When you go down there, if you go tonight, you go see 2 stray dogs and a crapo. The fella who was selling, 40 years ago when I was in school, a fella was selling Buljol and Milo. That fella, I think his son's selling that now. Nothing has changed in San Fernando. There is no development there. The last development San Fernando had was the teaching hospital built by Kamla Prasad Bisesa and the partnership. They went hot and sweaty, built highway. They said they're creating highway, man. Wrapping the island with highway. When you go down, 1 lane, 2 lane closed. Grass growing on the road. And the lane you're driving on, well, that flooding. So you have the mosquito crack down Mosquito Creek side. That's the mosquito crack. And you have now the San Fernando crack by the waterfront. Anywhere they go, they have destroyed. And if you hear of the hundreds of millions of dollars that gone, it's gone. Gone, and they don't have anything to show. Today, brothers and sisters, in this most vile and naked and scandalous press conference, the Prime Minister came, you know, and Barry say, he was talking in the chest, you can't hear what he's saying. Now there's Rowley, yeah? There's Rowley. He talking, you can't hear. He said, well, I think we got to accept the recommendation. He came humbly, gracefully. He said, I think these people make a good recommendation. We'll accept it. We'll accept it. Don't blame we. It has something called the SRC, Salary Review Commission, right? Nobody know who is a member there. You know. In fact, the members could be sitting down here and we don't know. We don't know who is that. They make this recommendation and they Rowley say, he said, I think they did a good piece of work. I think we'll accept it. They did good. That's a nice work. Nice work. $28,000 more a month. 47% increase for him. For the first time ever, the Prime Minister will receive more money per month than the President of this country. Rowley, that's what we come with. And then there's Camille Robinson Regis. Hey, I on a mic here. When I go into court, I don't see too much people behind me, you know. When I'm talking, I see plenty of people in front of me. Camille Robinson Regis, now what could I say about her that is decent? Making a statement last night or night before, I think, and she said, well, the UNC anthem, they don't want no salary increase, you know what I mean? They just get their money elsewhere and they just do wrongdoing and have money. We need the increase and thing. Camille Robinson Regis, who was the government minister who, when they get a credit card from the government, use taxpayers' money to buy what? To buy chandelier. To buy wig. Kevin Gibbs don't like me to say it, but it's only when they take away the credit card, then you realize it had no hair on the head. Gibbs are sorry. And they were wigless once they lost their credit card. They were using taxpayers' money for personal items and so on. And I want to tell WPC Robinson Regis, she like reading warrant and thing now. I want to tell you tonight, you see in the UNC, the MPs, the ministers, all of us, I tell you all, are professionals, are skilled people with great experience. We earn our income inside and outside of politics. Many of us are businessmen like David Lee, consultants, lawyers, doctors, artists, and so on, that we do not depend on the treasury to live. Camille Robinson Regis, you depend on the treasury to live. Because they never fight a dog case. If a man bite a dog, they can't win that. Brothers and sisters. So they have no other skill. All of them are unemployable. Watch on the government bench. I want to ask you something. They are leaving in a few months. They are demitting office. You will hire any one of them? There's a parlor there. Right here, a parlor there. You think Colin Imbert could run that parlor? That will bust in 1 month. 1 week. Keith Rowley cannot sell Tulum, Benabol, Kafanol. He cannot sell that and make a profit. Brothers and sisters, they cannot run anything. But the SRC report, they come today, and I want to tell you what is happening here. I know. I understand what is happening. Policemen, and we thank the policemen tonight and women for coming out. Many of the police officers have not received their back pay from last year. Can't give the police officers their back pay. The pensioners in Petrotrin, the pension fund is now in deficit. They have lost their medical care. Pension fund in deficit. Them can't get pension. Public officers, think of retired public servants and so on. They have not had an increase in their pension in years. Old age pension, we say old age pension, that we just say long time. Huh? Old age pensioners, when was the last time they got an increase in their pension? When the UNC was in power, was the last time they got an increase in their pension. But the effect of this SRC report, which they are going to accept, brothers and sisters, no, I mean, look what is happening in this country. For 9 years, Rowley take food from your plate. He take talcari from your leaf. To understand that, but he take talcari from your leaf. For 9 years, today he full in his plate before he go. The effect of this, they have no job in a few months, you know. Them is not prime minister and minister. So it's not a wage increase. It is for their pension. So when they demit office in a few months now, what will happen is the prime minister will end up with a pension of $87,800 per month. Maybe more, maybe more. I just use that. Ministers will end up now with pensions of $40,000 plus per month. And they cannot get a job. You will not hire them to run the parlor. This is what is happening. They are increasing their pension before they demit office. That is what they're doing. So they couldn't give you a $100 increase in pension in the budget. Couldn't give public servants an increase in pension. But they're taking all the pension money. When we tell them 4% is inadequate, Mrs. Prasad Bisasa said, inadequate, we don't want that. Have to be more. They said, where you go find the money? Where you go get money? Where you get any money from? And ask Rowley, where you get any money from for the salary increase? Where you get any millions of dollars in back pay? Where you getting the money from to finance salary increases of 47%? Brothers and sisters, when Petrotrin was closing down, I remind you, you remember what they did? They put on TV and they put on newspaper, Petrotrin managers making so much money. They're making money. They're rich and they have too much and they bust the company. Today the prime minister is $87,800 salary. That is what he's doing. And he don't care where the money come from. Brothers and sisters, he don't care. He don't care that you have no increase in your salary. He doesn't care. Or he tell the country, tighten your belt, 2027, things will get better. Why you didn't wait for 2027 for your increase? Huh? If things go get better with dragon gas, and the dragon always on the case with that. Our dragon here just hold them in parliament by the neck and he just choke when he reached Stuart Young to question him. So the whole country should wait for better times in 2027, but you need your better time now. You understand? That is the hypocrisy. And this is what Mrs. Prasad Bisesa said in her press statement. She says citizens are riled up because this government cannot account for $3 billion missing of taxpayers' money. They lie and tell you about the SCA, some cult overthrowing the country and think that was to fire somebody who they asked to spy on UNC politicians. They preside over 5,000 murders, 5,000 COVID deaths. There are 100,000 people dead there. 10,000 people dead there. 5,000 murder, 5,000 COVID, 10,000 deaths. They lost 50,000 jobs. They shrunk the economy by $30 billion. Take all the money for lawyers' fee, brothers and sisters. And the prime minister is the first prime minister with no achievement to his name, but he lobbying and justifying an increase in pay. He has a failed record, Mrs. Prasad Bisesa says. She's put in a press release. He opened the Carnage Fish Market 3 times. He reopened it for a 4th time. He want to reopen it again for the 4th time. How much time you open the fish market? He was outsmarted. Today, there are new developments in the energy sector. It is happening because of the incentives that the People's Partnership gave to the energy companies in 2015. Correct, David? Correct. And they boasting about the Shell or BP. They boasting about BP. Stuart Young is an interesting character. I will tell all you this. That fella is worthy of a Hollywood movie. There's a famous movie, The Remarkable Something. I forget how it just now. I think it was with Brad Pitt. And Brad Pitt had played this con man, that he could fool everybody and get away, Stuart Young has been minister in the Ministry of the Attorney General, minister in the Office of the Prime Minister, Minister of Energy, Minister of National Security, and you cannot find one achievement of this fella, Not one. His achievement is he recused himself like 100 times over some things that Saddam Hussein showed us. You don't know what he recusing himself for. Oh, what business you have in that? He has no achievement. They jump on a boat, he put on coverall, he gone to they said the ship laying pipeline in the ocean and he gone there. He didn't do nothing to get that, That was the partnership government, Kamla Prasad Bisesa, Kevin Ramnarine and others. We did the work for that. So brothers and sisters, Rowley is tone deaf. He's not taking on nobody. He and his cabinet, they full in the pocket before they go. They full in the hand. Man, they full in the mouth. When they walk in, they can't say goodbye because they're mouth full. We have to watch them in the coming months. We have to watch them. They will borrow money to thief. That's where they reach it now. They will borrow money to thief it. They are leaving government and they intend to feather their nest, brothers and sisters. And we have to keep an eye on them. I put it to you. We have to keep an eye on them. And keep an eye on Miss Camille Robinson Regis. I want to ask her if she's the same minister who made a deposit in a bank. I'm not sure. All you hear about that or I dreaming that? She deposit, I don't know what to say she because I don't know. You know that as a fact? All right. Somebody deposit money in a bank and when they ask you, where get the money from? They say, they know. They know where the money come from. Well, Sai Baba, he materialized that. We get it from Sai Baba. So brothers and sisters, these are the people who now telling us about integrity, about conduct in public office. When we were in public office, I remind you again because we have to. Kamla Prasad Bisesa was Prime Minister of this country. You know what she did? Among the first act? Well, the first note was to establish the Children's Life Fund to save the lives of children. But more than saving life, more than talking about saving life, she took 10% of the salary of the Prime Minister and put it in the Children's Life Fund from the salary. He take $28,000 every month more. She take 10% of her salary. And all cabinet ministers, including myself, we put 5% of our salary every month in the Children's Life Fund. Well, I like to count myself. When I left office, I tell Rowley, I say, hey, I put 210,000 Trinidad and Tobago dollars in the Children's Life Fund. Me.
And my cabinet colleagues, of course, all of them would have done that as well. So brothers and sisters, that was our commitment to children, to people. It was not like what they are doing today. The second and the last issue I'll talk about, I don't want to keep you all in the dew too long. But this issue that reared its head a couple days ago, Mrs. Prasad Bisesa said what everybody know is the truth. And the truth is that we have under Stuart Young and Rowley in particular, they kept our borders open, unmanaged, unpoliced, unpatrolled. And the Venezuelans, given their political and social and economic crisis, because there is no crisis like that elsewhere in the region right now, given that and the fact that Trinidad and Tobago could not protect its borders, there was a mass migration into Trinidad and Tobago at certain illegal ports, which we know. They did that. When the migrants came, you all remember Stuart Young with a bullhorn down by Queen's Park Oval? And he on this horn outside and telling them stay in line and keep quiet. He with the bullhorn and talking bull. Down there. They allowed that to happen. The people came in. Everybody came. They give them a registration card. They said, you stay here, you stay here. We raised the question, what are their rights? What are their entitlements? What does this registration card mean? They couldn't answer because they were playing hanky-panky with Maduro. So they didn't want to deport. They were playing footsie with Maduro. They didn't want to deport. And they did not deport. They did not protect our borders. They did not protect our shorelines. And you had this crisis occurring. Today, anybody who is anybody will tell you that they are hardworking brothers and sisters from all these countries around us, including Venezuela. But there are criminal elements as well. We know that. And Mrs. Prasad Bisesa had the courage, the audacity, the tenacity to say, listen, if you come here and you break the law, you're gone. We ain't playing games with you here. We ain't playing no game here with you. That is what she said. She didn't say round up everybody, lasso them, put them in the back of a tray truck and carry them. She said if you break the law, you're gone. We will not be soft on criminal elements, whether they be local or foreign assemble. We will not. And she was correct. Everybody know that today, that she was right. So don't take on these foolish people in the newspaper writing a set of rubbish and telling you what, she under fire. And Fitzgerald Hines of all people, one of them a political commentator talking about she was rough and she was rude and she was this and that. He facing some charge in the next country, you know. He facing charge in the next country, the next government looking for you. You know. So, brothers and sisters, in this battle against the criminal elements, we have enough local criminal. You think we want foreign one too? We have enough local. And Trinidad and Tobago will only experience a reduction in crime and criminality when the United National Congress is returned to office. When we are returned to office, that is when things will change. I want to tell people, don't be foolish. There are some people in this country, feel that we could deal with crime, okay? We could deal with crime. But somehow the PNM could stay. It cannot happen that way. It cannot happen that way. Brothers and sisters, it cannot. For crime to go, the PNM must go. For crime to go, the PNM must go. Look what they have done in the police service. Brothers and sisters, look what they have done in the police service. They have destroyed the police service. They put square pegs in wrong holes. And wrong peg in square hole. That is what they have done. Now stop laughing like that. That is what they have done. Brothers and sisters, that is what they have done. We went to Parliament and voted against the appointments of certain persons because we knew it would not help to develop the police service. Look what has happened today. The police officers before court, and I cast no aspersions on the officers. The matter didn't even reach the trial. You can't find evidence. You can't find document. You can't find statement. Matter dismissed. That is where we reach now. Confidence level in the police was already low.
Could you imagine what it is now? With citizens in any part of the world where you deal with crime, citizens must cooperate with law enforcement to deal with crime. That is a part of the world. That can't change. And in this country, who will cooperate with the police if that is the example they see? And that has happened under a particular leadership which we objected to. So that is why we are not surprised, and that will not change unless you change the PNM and return the United National Congress. Mrs. Prasad Bisesa, in a very successful Monday night crime symposium a couple nights ago, spoke of our plans along with two brilliant, eloquent, eminent attorneys at law, Devish Maraj and Jagdev Singh. They spoke of our plans, and you know what? I sat in the audience listening. You know, I was taken aback with. Those plans that they're describing are so implementable. You can implement it. When they describe the policies, proposals of the UNC, that's something we could do, man, quickly. And they will work. Electronic bracelets, a new court for certain parts of white-collar crime and so on. Stand your ground legislation to allow law-abiding citizens to arm themselves, defend themselves. Strict legislation on home invasion. Mrs. Prasad Bisesa outlined that. In a document, I took a look at a document in preparation for this speech tonight, brothers and sisters. And we have been speaking, Mrs. Prasad Bisesa spoke about expanding school policing. Given violence in the schools, we need a police presence in schools. In expanding patrols, introducing facial recognition, CCTV network, strengthening our regional cooperation, intelligence building, community policing, more boots on the ground. When we were in office, when you look around, you know, when you travel in the road, when the partnership and UNC in office, you just see police car all around. All around. If an accident occurs or a bandit robs somebody, you see 5 police cars reaching the scene one time. When these people in office, you call the police station, the police say, hold on a second there, we are no car. You could come and pick me up. That's what they tell you. That's a fact. That's a fact, and everybody knows that. Today, you know, they like to make joke and think they'll be talking about UNC politician. And I want to warn you, elections is coming. The PNM have an old playbook. It have cobweb on it and dust on it. But when election come, they do so. They blow away the dust, take a little cobweb broom, take away the cobweb and open it. And they say, UNC politician to be charged and this one arrested. And when they were in power, the wrongdoing they do. You understand? They just blow the cobweb and the dust. It is the same playbook. And they come to parliament, and that same Hines, the same Hines who they kick out from Lavantil West, that you know him well. That same fella who need a gallon of Colgate for his mouth. He, in parliament, when he throwing talk, well, police looking for you, and police looking for he, and police looking for she. I tell him, I want to tell you something, none of we here never bounced down a dog. Huh? He bounced down and kill a dog, and for good measure, the dog named Mali. He bounced down and kill a dog, poor fella. Poor dog, not Hines. So brothers and sisters, that same Hines always threatening. When police come to us, you know what they ask me for? I have a letter on my desk in the office from the police. When I go, the secretary bring the letter. Police! I say, oh, what police want with me now? Is it boss? Well, in a simple way, I want to read the letter. Is it boss? We have in a hamper program. If you could help us with 6 hampers. Then our next letter would come. They need ink for a printer. They need a whole printer. They need water. They need this. They need that. They ask UNC MPs because they know we have the compassion. We will assist. We will understand their plight. A policeman come to me. I say, boss, but what you harassing me for? He say, who to call? Who to talk to? I say, but you have a minister, Hines. He say, what? You crazy? I can't talk to he. I can't reach he. He's hostile and arrogant. That's how police see them. Brothers and sisters, when they come to us, it's because they know we have the compassion. We have the care. We have the consideration. Police tell you, ask any police, the last time they get a raise in their salary was from Kamla Prasad Bisesa. They know that. They know that when they get benefits, whether it's the bonus, is the what, the tax-free $1,000, and so on. It was from Kamla Prasad Bisesa. So brothers and sisters, I mean, we have a lot to say, but I would end by telling you that we have a full anti-crime agenda. Mrs. Prasad Bisesa has the agenda. She has the plan, she has the program, she has the policy, and she has the personnel to implement that. You can see it. You know it. As Raj, the man, said, it is in the bones. So I want to tell you that the PNM has abandoned the people. It is time the people abandon the PNM. Let us move together and let us end these red letter days. Let us end the rowdy years of struggle, of suffering, of poverty, of joblessness, brothers and sisters, of in unbelievable crime. Let us end these years once and for all and return this country to the compassionate hands of Kamla Prasad Bisesa and the United National Congress so that we will once again be able to walk the road freely. Our children will have the jobs for which they are qualified for. We will live in peace. We will enjoy prosperity. Brothers and sisters, we must return to those glory days of 2010, 2015. Long live the United National Congress. Long live our great political leader. Long live the good people of Soledad Road. I thank you and God bless you all. Great. Thank you, Dr. Moonilal. Before we come to an end, just give me 3 minutes. 3 minutes. 3 minutes. I want the people of Pointe-a-Pierre here tonight to understand that in Kamla Prasad Bisesa, you have a leader that never stops fighting for you, as what Dr. Moonilal has said. Week after week, in and out of Parliament, she fights for you, the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And she's locked on here tonight. And she sent us a message through Barry. I want to read it properly. She's locked on. She's locked on here tonight. And she has said, there will be no other leader like Kamla Prasad Bisesa who will love you more than she has loved you and will continue to love you wherever you go. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the kind of leadership we require, and she will return to be the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago whenever Rowley and his cronies call that election. I want to say thank you to my team, thank you to the songmen, thank you to you, my brothers and sisters throughout the length and breadth of not only Pointe-a-Pierre, but wherever you came to listen to your colleagues, to listen to your party, to listen to the vision, to listen to the fight that we have and the good we will do for your country whenever when we win the next general election. Reach home safe, my brothers and sisters. We have some light refreshments. We have some doubles somewhere around there. We have some drinks. And please partake. Reach home safe. I want to again thank the police officers of St. Margaret's Police Station for the yeoman service they have done for us here tonight. I want to thank all the Mohammed families. I want to thank my staff. I want to thank Mr. Keevan Gibbs and his team, Mr. Krishna Rampasad and his team, the sound system. I want to thank all of you all. Reach home safe and see you. Oh yeah, one other thing. Tomorrow on Friday, Mrs. Prasad Bisesa has asked us to let you know the screening will be open and we will start screening tomorrow at our headquarters in the afternoon. So stay tuned. Some of you all have been asking for the screening to start. I will let you know. I want to tell you the screening will start tomorrow, my brothers and sisters. So your party is in good hands under the leadership of Kamla Prasad Bisesa and her dynamic team. I thank you. Reach home safe and God bless.